If you went to Facebook, I would not watch you. Sorry. No, I understand. I understand that. Update your Facebook. Yeah, I mean, I have a gigantic Facebook. I had a huge Facebook following at the time. I kind of first popped off in the 2016 election cycle on Facebook, but I also deleted my Facebook and don't like Facebook in general. Like, I literally just don't have a Facebook account. I don't. I have an Instagram. But yeah, no, people that go there go for a lot of money, a lot more, and it's an understandable choice that they're making to make more money and for way less hours that they need to stream. And you can do it. You can do it in a smart way, like what Disguised Toast did. And you can do it in a smart way to go on YouTube as well. For me, though, the number one thing that gives me brain disease, but also the number one thing that keeps me going, is this. The back and forth interaction that I have with you guys. Being able to constantly talk to you, being able to have you show me fun shit, being able to watch it together. As it stands, it is... You know, YouTube doesn't have the best method of doing that. Like, YouTube chat culture and YouTube community is like difficult. YouTube live streams are hard to find. YouTube live streams are hard to find. So that's another thing, I think. Like, there's a lot that YouTube needs to do to fix its platform and the way that it deals with like live streaming, for it to be like a viable alternative. But that's for someone like myself. If you don't care, if YouTube was able to fix chat, made it similar to Twitch chat, and then also on top of that, fix discoverability for streaming, and like focused on live streaming initiatives to build a sense of community. And the user interface was a little bit better on YouTube. YouTube could be a severe competitor to Twitch. For monetization purposes, YouTube also still needs to go a long way. I think Twitch is still better at monetizing, even though Twitch itself is like, personally, Twitch itself is like basically saying, hey, like, we're really good at monetizing in comparison to other platforms, and it's the truth, right? I mean, there's obviously still a load of problems for affiliates, a load of problems for mid-tier and lower tier partners in the partnership platform with like 55,000 content creators on there. And even then, it's still significantly better than all of the other platforms. But Twitch is like, we're going to change that. It seems literally like Twitch is like, yeah, I know that like part of the reason why we have a lot of active content creators on this platform is because it monetizes better than all these other fucking avenues that you can use. But we're going to do our very best to change that, to make sure that it's not that way, so that you will, on your own volition, go to YouTube, even if they don't have a fucking... a good ecosystem yet. No shot they make YouTube chat similar to Twitch's. There'd be zero modularity and the emotes would suck ass, I think. Yeah. I mean, I've said all this before. Yes, YouTube seems to be too big to make these types of decisions quickly. Agreed. I've said this for a while. Seems there's too much red tape to get changes to YouTube live streaming to make it an actual competitor. Yes, I agree. Would you consider going to Mixer if it was still operational and it had a good offer? No. Growth on Twitch and Twitch alone is non-existent. It doesn't matter how much better it pays if you have zero chance to grow here. That's why YouTube is better. YouTube is unlimited growth. But Twitch monetization is better than YouTube monetization for live streaming, for exclusively live streaming. Ludwig streamed last night and Twitch would have been like 200K, no cap, more. That's exactly, that's a great fucking take. Ludwig had a fat fucking stream yesterday. Like, he had Mr. Beast on his live stream. He had xQc on his live stream. He had top poker players from around the world, including Phil Hellmuth, I think the guy's name is. And he had so many fucking people. And I was watching it, and he had like 63K average. And it's crazy. It's crazy that stream only had 63K average. It was great. And that would have fucking gone crazy on Twitch. I think that stream would have been gigantic on Twitch. But I think that it's hard to do that. Like, Poki had 100K with xQc. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's crazy that like Pokimane and xQc talking together had more of had a higher viewer count, a higher average than the Ludwig stream. And the Poki xQc stream was great too. It was like perfect for Twitch. And for the record, let me tell you something, okay? And we're going to get into that right now. We're going to talk about that for a second. But wait, what the fuck was I going to say? Dude, I think COVID's like fucking my brain up a little bit. If X ever moves to YouTube, then maybe we'll see 100K plus viewers. We'll see. I don't know. But, what I was going to say is like 100K viewers on Twitch means more actually on YouTube usually. Like if you're like a 30K streamer, if you're a 30K streamer on this platform, depending on how much YouTube movement you have the opportunity to be a fucking 40K, 50K. Like the way that that viewership monetizes on Twitch is different than YouTube. A view count or a view is worth more on Twitch. And that's why you actually have, and a lot of you don't know this, and that's really funny because it goes back to what I was originally saying, is that YouTube is not insular. Their live streaming space is not insulated. So therefore, it has an opportunity to get much, much larger, but there's no fucking sense of community like there is on Twitch. And therefore, you didn't even know. A lot of you are unaware that there's like people that average 150K, like Corpse was averaging like 150K every time he plays. I Show Speed, a streamer that many of you have never even heard of until the recent controversy, is averaging 70 to 80K every fucking stream while he's playing video games on YouTube, right? And you did not even know that. And the reason why you don't know it is because there is no fucking discoverability on YouTube. It's like weird. You can pop the fuck off because you're like blowing up on TikTok or you're blowing up on other platforms and then no one knows about it. It's weird. It's crazy. Like, does that make sense? Do you understand it? Look at the Spanish guys. Almost all the big ones come from YouTube and every now and then they get in really big streams on Twitch. Yeah. So, did you see that Botes made $500,000 after starting with 50K? I did. If you stream on Twitch, you can grow on YouTube too, but if you stream on YouTube, the same platform has the only way to growth, which may be harder. Yeah, don't live streams come up on the recommended tab when you're watching YouTube videos? I don't know. I don't know how like it works. I'm not entirely familiar with the interface. All right, so let's see. I watched pieces of this. This was like pretty good concept overall. I think like Poki originally was gonna do something with Mizkif. I don't know what happened there, but you know, she's doing this podcast now with xQc. I guess I don't know how much they'll be able to do that. Because, you know, it's really difficult to fucking schedule anything with this goblin, but I don't know why you guys are pepelaying. I legitimately do not know what the information. I feel like you're saying something, but Miz is going to North Korea? Dude, that's some real fucking content. She said getting Miz in LA every time would be too hard. Oh, that makes sense. All right, let's I don't know. Getting xQc in LA is fucking hard too. xQc could literally live in your house, and getting him on a fucking podcast for 4 hours would still be probably just as difficult. But hey, I guess this happened for once. That unreliable motherfucker. We were supposed to do a drip stream like 7 years ago. I've already, my style has changed. You know what I mean? Since the last time I said, like, we need to do a drip stream. Keemstar, please tell that Pokimane bitch. What? If she thinks her career is going to last longer than mine's a fucking idiot, I will be here till the day you retire, bitch. What the fuck? Bro, you are literally 45 years old. Like, isn't Keemstar 45 years old? Like, goddamn, bro. What are you doing? You're calling like a 25-year-old Twitch streamer a bitch, dude. What is wrong with you? Have a daughter, homie. What the fuck? Okay. Someone needs to tell Keemstar that when he's 45 and is like trying to fuck 18-year-olds, that doesn't mean he's like, you know, that doesn't mean he can fucking speak that way. Aren't you 40? I mean, I'm gonna be, but you don't see me fucking talking this way, right? When I call someone a bitch, it's usually fucking Tucker Carlson or some shit, not like fucking Pokimane. I'm 30. I know that a lot of people love saying like, oh, bro, you're fucking, Hasan is 48 years old and like, you know, thirst traps like a fucking teenage e-boy or whatever, but. All right, let's see what this is.
Like good example. I mean, I don't want to make too much drama on stream, but you know, like Call Me Carson, right? People said, "Oh man, like he got canceled over I mean, he didn't get canceled.
He canceled himself.
You literally just stopped posting.
Yeah.
Stop posting, you're not canceled.
Well, I would say that's being canceled. Like, when it's so bad that you, like, dip for a year or two.
Okay, it being bad, technically.
This is going to be an interesting conversation because, like, you have two people that I think do a way better job than myself individually, who also have a fuckload of haters. xQc obviously does not have as many haters as Pokimane and does not have as many haters as I do, and they're not as dedicated because the type of content and commentary he creates is like just usually in line, even if his own personal point of view and his politics might not be. The type of content that he fucking creates and pumps out is like in line with those deranged fucking weirdos. Like, he's accessible, right? He is definitely like very broadly accessible to a lot of people, even if they fucking hate Gamba streams and they hate him because he's doing a Gamba stream, right? But he also has a fuckload of like really vicious psychopathic stalkers, just like we all do. The reason why I'm saying that is because despite all of that, he does a really good job of dealing with it, okay? He does a really good job of dealing with it. I do the worst at dealing with it in comparison to Poki and xQc, but we all have our own like vicious brand of like sick freaks. Did someone broke into his old house? Dude, I know. Guys, he was literally living with me for like, you know, a week. I know. I'm familiar with what happened in his life. I think you don't have to tell me in the chat. Like, what are you talking about? What, you think I don't know? I mean, why do you think he was with me? Anyway, listen. But ultimately, okay, he does a really good job because he doesn't fucking respond to trolls as much as I do. And his trolls don't like cut fucking YouTube essays. Okay? His trolls don't cut fucking YouTube essays about him like being like the truth about xQc and why he's a grifter or whatever, right? But with Pokimane and I have like similar types of haters where they literally make money and a fuckload of content and commentary off of just like writing negative shit about her, even if it's all a fucking lie, right? Even if it's all completely a lie. xQc will literally just get a fuckload of hate for toxic shit that he does and pops off, you know what I mean? Like whether it's CTRP or whatever. But he's the only person I've ever seen that has been able to ride the negative wave and say fuck all the haters and thrive as a consequence of that. I've never seen anybody else be able to fucking surf on the backs of his haters as well as he does. So he, in my opinion, is the best at farming angry haters and still coming out on top. You know what I mean? He's incredibly good at it. I would say he's the best at it. That's why he gets 70,000 people watching him. Half of that chat is fucking despising him, and they're like, "You fuck you, you're despicable." But he's able to farm him non-fucking stop. I break down when I have an overwhelming amount of fucking haters. xQc farms haters well without becoming a lolcow. Also, yeah, exactly. He does a really good job of farming the haters. Because his community has like blind loyalty to him. And also because he doesn't respond. He doesn't let it get to him, I think, in some ways. Right? So I really respect him for doing that. And same with Pokimane, who has a fuckload of haters too. More similar to me. Like her haters are more similar to my haters. Right? And people do make like videos about her being like the truth about Pokimane, like she's awful or whatever the fuck, right? In the same way that dude, your haters are dedicated as fuck though. I've had fucking weirdos in my DMs or even being in your chat. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like we have more pathological and more obsessed ones. I think we have more pathological and more obsessed haters because one, she's been the top female content creator on the space for like a very long time. She's the face of Twitch. So obviously there's like a lot of fucking weirdo psychos who are like pathological in the way that they like obsess over her and everything that she does and like tries to try to bastardize everything that she does to be like, oh, she's bad. Look at that. Like she, and the same for me as well for my politics. xQc had to stop hosting rating people for a while because of his chat. Yeah, I know. I mean, but there's a reason why I don't host and raid everyone and I only host and raid specific people. Yes, because that is true. No matter what happens, like think about it this way. I bet yours and Poki's hater overlap is massive. Conservatives and capitalists hate you just for being socialists. Those same conservative incels hate Poki for just being a woman. Exactly. No, for sure. But even then, she deals with them better than I do as well, where she just literally does not respond to it. Or if she's going to respond to haters, like she will literally make like a big. She is able to stop the flood of commentary by responding to it one time and then never again. And I really respect her for dealing with it appropriately, and does a really good job overall. Like she doesn't give a shit that there's like constantly people writing fucking essays about being like Pokimane breathed differently today. What the fuck? He never responds for the most part. He never responds or literally will double down and fucking ride the wave. She doesn't usually respond, but when she does, it's like a one-off. And then on the third rung, I have myself, who does it in the absolute worst way possible, where I'm constantly responding and constantly addressing, and not just doing it one time to point to that one-time thing that everyone could just point to be like, this is the addressal of all the haters. Shut the fuck up. Go watch it there. Stop talking about it. There's definitely so much more that I need to learn from my fellow content creators and the way that they deal with their fucking haters and farm them and shit. So I am aware of it. Like I'm self-aware, and I try to stop myself, and it's like so it sucks. And it takes forever, then you're sad for the rest of the day. Yes. So that's what I was gonna say, is that I let it get to me. And that's the point. And then it cucks the content and it makes it awful. And I give personal responses to each and every hater's post. Exactly. Like, it's just not great. Chatters, whenever they get your attention in any way, I captivated the guy who captivated 1,000 guys. So yeah, you know, that's part of the problem. That's part of the process. It is what it is. But let's see what they had to say. xQc is right though. And so is Pokimane. xQc is right that like in this day and age, you don't really like get quote unquote canceled. You cancel yourself basically. And Iman is right when she says, well, technically people driving you off the internet is what we consider to be a cancellation. So it's still usually up to you and how you deal with it. Like what makes a cancellation is like how you deal with it. And people rarely ever like get full blown canceled, right? Unless they've done something that's like, you know, canceled by the government, canceled by the federal government for, you know, violating laws. But other than that, like, you know, it's rare that you let people fucking go buck wild on you and drive yourself off the internet ultimately.
I think is a matter of perspective.
Canceled has become such an over.
I think the hardest thing for you is that you were completely able to tolerate conservative Nazis that hate you. But when it started coming from the left, that's when it got to you. So in a sense, I think Poki and xQc haters are still different from yours, if that makes sense. Oh, 100%. That's it. That's what kills me. That's absolutely what it is. It's people that like are supposed to be my allies and supposed to see the world in the same way that I do, that fucking turn around and they're like, fuck you, you're a piece of shit, you're a villain. That's what kills me. It literally fucking kills me. It's like a fucking gut punch. It's like being stabbed in the fucking heart every time. Every time. Because there's a broader consequence of that. Because it's a constant reinforcement that like, it's a constant reinforcement of the attitude that like the left is cannibalizing itself once again, or people who would otherwise become like more progressive by being open-minded are turning around and thinking like, fuck this guy. I don't give a shit. I get shit on by the conservatives regularly. It sucks. I get death threats. You know, they fucking harass me, whatever. But again, that dude, come on. Yes, we're all getting paid. Okay. We're all getting paid in this cycle. Okay. That doesn't try to focus on a broader point that I'm trying to make here. I'm not saying I'm not getting paid, please. Like your input in this situation does not, you know, it's not warranted. I was watching another streamer the other day and one of their chatters said they hate you because no one should be rich when you're a socialist. Yeah, I mean, that too. Feels like it's that the left falls in love thing. People find a thing that they feel so strongly about, even if they agree with you on most things, they go against them on one thing they're strangely passionate about. You're done. Yeah, it's annoying, but if you are reading chat, 90% of all viewer listeners only know of something. When you specifically answer it, only know of opposition or goofiness because you reference it, leading to more or less confident in your take. Evidence versus none. Yeah.
Over overused and shitty term that it no longer has a definition.
You're not wrong.
What the fuck does it even mean?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. With how much shit people get, I think if you put a good amount of creators in my position, when they start, if you make them go live now and they play a video game, right? They would probably say that, yeah, they'd stop streaming and they'd say, yeah, I got canceled because the chat is shitting on them. Like, if I play a game, okay,
Yeah.
all I get in chat is so bad, so dog shit, garbage, and quit the game.
I mean, he's right. That's it. He's right about that, by the way. I mean, totally. Like, the dynamic between streamers and their community usually is like, even if it's a loved one, it's still a negative one. You know what I mean? For the outsider, that's why Grimes, who is by no means a normal person, looked at the sea of chat and thought, you have a mental illness for doing this. And she's right. I don't think she's wrong about that. And, you know, that's fucking Grimes. Do you think about that? She's right. Because to the outside world, the dynamic between like me and my community looks like I'm just getting fucking relentlessly shit on, right? And even though like I understand the memes and I understand where they're coming from, and it's the same with xQc, like if you address the actual negative takes, then it just turns into like something so much worse. Especially when there are outside communities that take advantage of the sea of like supposedly negative commentary and turn it into like actual negative commentary.
They get nothing but that in the chat, right? Because that's just what they say, you know? So in my perspective, it's like normalized, like it's just like a funny joke, but for somebody else, it'd be like, GG's. So I think it kind of depends.
When you post shit or see stuff about yourself, do you ever see like random
I have to pee, I'll be back, 1
or
second.
hate comments or like clusters of people disliking you or saying like,
Fuck, this is really
that
good
guy
shit,
that
Tom.
Tom.
used to say slurs and this and
Oh
that?
no,
Real
that's
quick.
funny. I think that's so funny.
Really? Or like, do you ever see that? I kind of can't tell because I feel like you have such a big, dedicated community. I don't often see xQc haters,
Well,
but maybe I'm just like blind to them. I don't know.
okay, well, I think
R slash
when I make a mistake, and I correct it and move on, I know what I stand for, and I'm not afraid of going live and just talking for hours, right? Because I know that I'm not like, I don't have terrible ideas and none of them's gonna slip through the cracks. Oh my god, I'm gonna say this on the stream, right? So I don't have to cover my tracks. I don't have to. Whenever people come up and it's like, oh, dude, I'm gonna pull up what he said last time and I'm gonna got him. I think it's so funny.
Got him.
Because it's just like Keemstar when he pulled out the article and like, dude, we know this. We
Oh
see
my god,
this.
wait. Can I just say, when you replied to Keemstar,
Yeah.
you fucking buried him. Like, me and my friends were talking about it like it was a national holiday. Like, guys, today, the gnome's career has ended due to this.
And then
The magnitude of the ratio, I cannot even mathematically calculate. It was just out of this freaking world.
yeah, you get kind of smoked, and then you know what's crazy though? And then they kept bringing more and more. I don't know if you just remember.
No.
He kept doing more tweets about me or whatever.
Really?
But then I didn't reply to any of them because the reality is that the main point is dispelled, right? So whatever he comes with next, I don't. It's the same mentality. People.
Dude, he's right. He's 100% right, dude. That's it. You know, you come in one time, you pop off, and then you never respond ever again, and then it's over. It dies down, it goes away. But if you fucking do respond endlessly and non-fucking stop, then you're making more fucking commentary and you're feeding an entire cycle. Also, but there is a difference though. I'm gonna be honest. The difference between like me and someone like xQc is that xQc doesn't have like entire communities. Like me and Pokimane have entire communities dedicated, like other content creators and their own communities literally dedicated to cutting content and commentary. So there's like a self-reinforcing cycle. Whereas with xQc, someone like Keemstar is not gonna fucking, you know, someone like Keemstar has more people in his fan base that like xQc than they like Keemstar. You know what I mean? But he's right though. He's right as far as like not responding to the fucking psychos, the psychotic haters. If I hadn't, like, in Ethan has a lot of fucking haters too in a similar way. Like if you are literally just a like if you're functionally on the left politically on the internet, like you're gonna get people up your fucking dick hole nonstop. And it's not just going to be right wingers, okay? There's going to be other leftists who are up your dick hole like a goddamn little worm, okay? Just like crawling into your penis hole and trying to eat you from within. Really fucked up and really weird. Leftists want to be cool in punk rock, and now you're too mainstream for them to admit liking you. That's another part of it, too. Like, they want to be fucking hipsters, and they're annoying as shit when they're like... But that's different. That's like... Who cares? The Keffal's hate is so fucking bizarre on Twitter. No, it's not, dude. It's not. She had a fucking quick boom bust cycle. That's it. She blew the fuck up really quickly. And when she did, of course, immediately people were like, all right, she popped off. Now I hate her. Because a lot of people are ideologically unsound, okay? They do not have like moral consistency. They only like leftist politics from the point of view of aesthetics. They don't think about it beyond that. So then, aesthetically speaking, if you pop off, then boom, you're bad. You're fucking bad. You're successful. That is how deeply ingrained anti-socialist rhetoric is in this fucking country and on the planet. Socialism lost. It took a fat fucking L. And ever since then, because of Red Scare propaganda and because of capitalist dogma so deeply fucking ingrained in every facet of our society, we literally have people who think they're fucking leftists unironically respond in the most reactionary ways possible to leftist leaders or leftists that actually fucking pop off. It's purely spite driven, and it's basically just using any kind of like criticism that has existed since day one, that they're just unwillingly and inadvertently bringing up. There was a point when I was kind of paying attention to socialist MMA and they went mask off on you and exposed their grift. Yeah. Like, I'll be real. I legitimately think this, like, this is going to fucking piss people off, but there are few content creators out there. I mean, there are content creators out there who are further to the left than me, I guess, if that's like a real dynamic on the spectrum, but not a lot. Definitely not a lot. And I think I do a pretty good job of like having a reasoned and balanced approach to the way I cover politics. And that's part of the reason why a lot of Twitter hammer and sickle weirdos will turn around and be like, Hasan is a fucking social democrat. Like, he's just a social democrat. It's like, shut the fuck up. We're not effective. I'm sorry. You might be a great community organizer or whatever in your local community, but you're not good at like covering a broad spectrum of news from the point of view of like a progressive person that is making leftist politics accessible. Like, you're not doing it. You're not doing a good job. I'm sorry. It's cringe. Leftism is really fucking cringe, or the leftists oftentimes are really fucking cringe, except for the leftists that I like and promote all the time. So I just think the leftist community isn't welcoming and find joy in not engaging in incremental change. Yeah. Ultimately, all of that stuff is just noise. And I just wish people would, take a deep breath and just stop. Just stop focusing on that sort of stuff. Because to the outside world, to the uninitiated, and that is the broad majority of normal human beings on this planet, the only way we come across as leftists are cringe, annoying, woke scolds who can't shut the fuck up and want to suck the joy out of every single thing. That is what being a leftist is about, unfortunately. And since day one, what I've tried to do is fight back against that. And I know that we all have those urges inside because we want to build the best possible universe, okay? From a point of view of empathy. But it's really, really difficult to just, not center yourself in this dynamic and try to understand that, like, it's also important to show your best face forward. There's also this too. Spite driven, I thought socialism took an L, like you just said. Socialism did take an L. Good take. You're only good at propaganda. You will never organize anything meaningful. True. You got clapped by CW, though. Like, this person is mentally unwell, right? 7-month subscriber, clearly has a lot of mental issues, okay? And it manifests itself. I hope you get better. I'm going to give you a day off, okay? Maybe take some time off. Or if you're going to be here, just get better. It's not good for you. Like, the way you understand the world currently is just making you very angry, and you're lashing out on whatever you can. I mean, we all have mental issues, obviously. We're all managing it, though, right? But you're not managing it appropriately if you're doing that. Imagine getting clapped by a garbage network like CW. No, that person is talking. That person probably watches a lot of like social democratic YouTube essayists and thinks that like Christian Walker made 0 good points, but thinks that like he owned me in debate or something. Anyway, it really doesn't matter. Anyone who got that takeaway is close to being unsalvageable, and is unfortunately too. They're just too malleable, and do not have their own worldview or their own perspective. Malleable to like what other people say about content creators, and the only way. Why are you faking a deep voice, lol? Neurodetergent. I have COVID. I don't know if you know this. That's why my voice is the way it is. I'm still testing positive for COVID. I don't know if you know that. I have COVID. All right, let's continue.
People know about this. You're not gonna get me. And he just looks like this like you know when you watch a cartoon. Right?
Don't you low-key like responding to negative content though? Or are you just trying to clarify narrative? No, I always have tried to use negative commentary as a launch-off point to show you where I stand. It's a back and forth, right? To give you my perspective on matters. But unfortunately, people take advantage of that, and that's the only way that they can get my attention, so they go crazy, and they just like literally will make fake negative content, and then that launches off into like actual communities of vaccines didn't work for, huh? No, vaccines worked really well, actually. Like, for example, here, I'll give you a great example of this. That person said vaccines didn't work well, huh? I was thinking about this a lot. Vaccines work incredibly well. I often think about what I would be like if I didn't have the vaccines. I'm a healthy person. I'm 30 years old. I work out all the time. I eat clean. And even then, COVID has been like a bit of a slow burn and has made me really fatigued. I feel like if I did not have the vaccines and the booster, holy fuck, it would have destroyed me. It would have pepperonied my ass. And honestly, for that, I'm incredibly and eternally thankful for medical science. It was awesome. Let's continue.
Talking for hours, right? Because I know that I'm not like, I don't have terrible ideas and none of them's going to slip through the cracks. Oh my God, I'm going to say this on stream, right? So I don't have to cover my tracks. I don't have to. Whenever people come up and say like, oh, I'm gonna pull up this what he said last time.
He doesn't get it.
Got him. I think it's so funny.
Got him.
Because it's just like Keemstar when he pulled out the article. I'm like, dude, we know this. We see this.
Oh my God! Wait, can I just say when you reply?
He doesn't get it.
Keemstar,
He's wrong on. Okay, it doesn't matter because that he is very lucky to be on the, I guess, right side originally, or still functionally and fundamentally have a community of like people that are right wing that watch him and like him. When you're on that side of the political spectrum, even if you personally, your political beliefs are not there, but people perceive you to be like kind of an edgy person on that side, it literally doesn't matter, because if someone tries to cancel you, no one gives a fuck on your end. Right wingers don't give a fuck about like someone being canceled. As a matter of fact, they'll reinforce their posture, and they'll literally reinforce you. They'll be like, fuck that guy. But also at the same time, even if they're using like your prior things that you've said to try to cancel you, you can clearly be like, look, I'm not this person anymore. I fucked up. We all have, but we're capable of changing, right? And then everyone on the liberal side, for the most part, that isn't like fucking completely brain dead, will see that and appreciate that, right? But because he doesn't have like annoying fucking smarmy leftists in his broadcast, in his audience, they don't turn around and fucking try to cancel him for prior things that he has said. He himself, xQc is not right-wing at all, but he has a big right-wing audience. So they see him as a fellow traveler, like a like-minded, edgy gamer bro, even if he's not.
Yeah.
You fucking buried him. Like, me and my friends were talking about it like it was a national holiday. Like, guys, today, the gnome's career has ended due to this. And then, the magnitude of the ratio, I cannot even mathematically calculate. It was just out of this freaking world.
Yeah, you get kind of smoked, and then you know what's crazy though? And then they kept bringing more and more. I don't know if you just remember.
No.
He kept doing more tweets about me or whatever.
Really?
But then I didn't reply to any of them, because the reality is that the main point is dispelled, right? So whatever he comes with next, it's the same mentality. people know about this. You're not gonna get me. And
anyway, the reason why I mentioned that is because, like, yes, that doesn't work if you have like a apolitical fan base, I guess, which ultimately means like you have a lot of fucking right wingers who love you too. You can dispel the main point and then move on. Whereas, like, if you have a leftist fanboys, if you have a leftist fan base, then they will literally take things that you have said 8 years ago and be like, "Wow, I didn't know about this. What's up with this?" And I'm like, motherfucker, just because you haven't been here for like the millionth time that I've addressed this talking point doesn't mean that it still impacts, like, doesn't mean that that's still me right now. You know what I mean? Like, people try to do that all the time. There's like a million different fucking idiotic essayists that are like, look at his older videos or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, dog, you know, if I'm 320 pounds in a fucking video that you're showing that and it's 10 years old, you're a psycho for mentioning it. You're a psycho for fucking posting that. You know what I mean? And there are plenty of people who do that. There are people who still do it in the chat. There are people doing it right now. Like, it's very strange. And it does have some staying power because people on the left do jump on to it. You know what I mean? People on the left do jump onto it and go, wow, you're not perfect morally. And it's something that I try to address regularly, right? It's something that I try to address, that idea. Not for me personally, but that idea in general since day one. Since day one is something that I have tried to address and be like, you need to stop. You need to stop. When some random 100-follower lifestylist Andy makes some dumbass take from the left and then gets retweeted 5,000 times by neoliberals, you're not being attacked from the left? No, I am. Because for a lot of people, there is no tangible left. So a lot of random people who themselves are lifestylists or themselves are like trying to understand what being a leftist is about, they'll see that and go, what the fuck? Other leftists hate this guy. Maybe I should hate him too. Because they don't have like a foundation. They don't have a good foundation. And it's really difficult. And it's really difficult to build a foundation off of it. But it's fine. You know, we still champion on and we still move on. It's always important. As I always say, just be charitable. Just be charitable. Just be charitable. Also, the types of leftists who bring those 10 years old clips were themselves fucking Sargon of Akkad fans back then. And it's wild how insane the converted zealots are when it comes to proving their bona fides. Like, yeah, I know. Let's continue.
It's like this like, you know when you watch a cartoon, right? And then there's like the big guy who's like holding the other guy like this, and the guy's like that, and he can't reach. It's kind of like that, right?
Halt,
yeah.
no.
So he got halted once, right? Now if you try again, you're not gonna reach me. It doesn't matter. That's kind of how it is. So that's kind of how I saw it. So I'm like, I'm not gonna keep replying. And people say, you give them clout when you answer. No, you don't get it. You don't get it. Like,
maybe if you answered every single fucking thing, it would be a bit much.
If you answer every time, yeah, you're giving clout and everything. You're just being weird. But if you smoke them once, you're chilling.
Agreed.
So I don't know, but it's why the gnome, it was like a non-issue for me.
Dude, okay. Maybe this is a little spicy to say, because in general, I used to try pretty hard to avoid talking about the gnome because he's just very intense. Like you say,
he's not only intense though.
He holds a grudge against you, and he's like, just starts spewing lies and doing whatever. But I think at this point, you know, I'm trying to take small steps to give less of a shit.
Yeah?
So this is going to be my first step in saying I am so fucking glad that for someone who tried to cancel me so many fucking times over the last like 4
the gnome
years.
is Keemstar, and you know, we again, Pokimane and myself have same enemies on the internet, if not identical. It's a 1-to-1, like it's one big Venn diagram. It's 2 circles on top of one another. With respect to people that are trying to cancel both of us, and they are relentless and they fucking do the exact same shit non-fucking stop, and they're really annoying. And for the most part, I think, and Ethan Klein as well, for the most part, I think like the best situation there, how do I describe it? Like, just not responding is the best thing you can do. And those guys don't even have fucking fan bases themselves. They literally just are launching. They have to constantly spread negativity towards other people because they need anti-Pokimane people from other communities that hate Pokimane to come on and fight alongside Keemstar. That's it. He needs that to maintain his presence, right? And if there was one person who deserves to be canceled, like straight up, even though cancel culture is not fucking real, it's Keemstar. Holy fuck.
I am happy that I lasted long enough to watch him kind of disappear into irrelevancy.
Yeah, and now all he does is just like a misogynist factory. I'm not gonna say it.
Truly.
That is what I think, though.
Factory.
You know
bro.
when you take a little factory, right, and it's like a chain belt at the back, and it takes a normal user and then makes a misogynist at the end.
Yes.
So what he does every day, and it's just so obvious.
Oh my god.
They're right. Straight up.
He just
He's
tries so hard.
radicalizing the poor little Twitter users.
Yeah, it is what it is, though. And yeah, I think
I
you don't have to
ratioed.
tweet about it
I
every
fucking
time.
ratioed Keemstar so much he blocked me, dude. And then I started ratioing him with like you guys, with fans in the chat, and it's
Just
unblock
showing-
me. You I want to keep ratioing him into fucking oblivion.
And once in a while, you know, when he's pointing fingers, it's just a good reminder.
Just an L nerd.
I ratioed him so
Unironically,
hard he
L.
fucking got out of a relationship.
Nerd.
Yep, and now we're gonna be on the next show.
He's already prepping his tweets and clips.
Ironically, more clout for me. Easy.
True. Oh yeah. Okay. Something I kind of want to talk about: family stuff. Like I feel like you don't really talk about.
Okay, so they're done with the Keem shit. Keem has literally survived on hate his entire career. Yeah, I mean that's what his career is built on. Was there more to that xQc Poki video? I think they also talked about Gamba. Does anyone have a time slot for when they started talking about Gamble streams? Because like that's what I actually watched. Pokimane and xQc talking about Gamba. And honestly, I think she did a really good job of like showing Felix once again that he's, you know, not right about his attitude on Gamba. Or I mean, I think she did a decent job of like explaining the position.
I keep burping. About it at the time.
Is this
Yeah,
it?
we did Gamba shit,
Oh.
but we were like thrown under the bus, if that makes sense. Like whenever she hit the fan and people were like against it, then they piled on. Everybody piled on. You don't have to be for it. You don't have to be neutral. You don't have to do anything. But I think piling on is something you do like by choice. And you know, me and Train, like we're kind of like we're not vindictive, but we take notes, right? People are gonna be a bunch of hoes. We take notes. We're not gonna go against them
I
like
think
crazy.
the word you mean is petty.
Yeah, we're not. Okay, we're not
No,
petty.
y'all are a little petty.
No, they're petty as fuck. They're petty white. They're Tom Petty, motherfucker. Look, here's all I'm gonna say is this. Okay, he fucking did the thing where he pointed to like people being wrong about their takes on Gamba instead of like the main overarching issue. For example, he is going to bring up in this situation, he's going to bring up the notion that like how can people trust you because like other Gamba streamers in the past have like gotten paid by the house and like they have fake odds or whatever, you know what I mean? And he hyper focuses on that, but it's not even that. That wasn't the main issue at all. I've never fucking made that argument. My argument always is that like what Pokimane does a really good job of describing here, which is you're making money off of like getting people addicted to gambling, right? And even then, I still think I get why it's I get why it is content. Like I get it. And he cares about content more than anything else, and it's content.
Okay.
You're not
sometimes we're petty.
vindictive and vengeful, but you're a little petty.
We're not gonna take action.
I
But,
think all streamers are a little petty, low key.
but I take notes though. All I do is take notes.
Noted.
Noted. So I'm gonna say, because generally, if you're kind of wrong, then you're wrong. But if they're piling on, it's kind of like, okay, I'll note that, right? And then maybe next time when they're in trouble, I'll pile on it, right? But then it felt to me like we got piled on and then a 180'd on. That was my concern. So that's why I talked to him off stream, and I was like, see, at the time you piled on me and you piled on us,
Playing
but
both
now you're
sides.
180ing. So it's like when you're piling on, you act as if you know better, in my opinion. But then comes up later that you don't. And that's the only thing I didn't agree with.
Well, I mean, didn't Miz do a gambling sponsorship before? So I don't think he ever acted like he knew better. I think. I don't know.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
talking about Mizkif. Okay. I don't know why. Dude, the main fucking drivers of people who were criticizing xQc and Train and all the other gamer streamers were not Mizkif. Mizkif did what Mizkif always does. I think he did a good job of like not taking on additional Gamba streams, right? He fucking did one and then was like, okay, this is not for me. And then he, added himself into the conversation a little bit by turning around and saying like, I did one, I no longer do it. And I respect him for no longer doing it. But he just inserted himself into the conversation in the same way that he does. But the main argument wasn't coming from Mizkif. The main argument was always coming from someone like myself and someone like Ethan as well.
I don't remember. Anyway, I ended up being kind of wrong about it because I talked to him about it and I was like, yeah, like I was just mauled, like because we got paddled last time, whatever. Mm-hmm. So we cleared it up. It was fine.
Okay.
But at the end of it, we kind of hashed it out. Like it was like no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad. I kind of hard snapped because one, he didn't take it, whatever, and it doesn't matter anyway. It's
Oh, yeah. I think you reacted that way because you thought he did take the.
Yeah, I did take it.
And you thought that would be hypocritical.
Which would have been fine. Also, I would have been. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'd have been out of my depth anyway if I got mad about it.
You may be unaware, but Mizkif recently said he was offered $10 million for slots and he thought about it. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Dude, slot guys give so much money. I don't know if slot guys give so much fucking money. They offer a fuckload, dude. It's crazy. I don't even, Mizkif has a tendency to exaggerate, but I'd be honest, like I wouldn't be surprised because how much motherfuckers give money. And let me tell you, for those of you who don't understand, okay, there's a couple things I need to mention here. I personally think there's a distinction between like poker or even fucking playing blackjack on stream, which they themselves are still, addictive and it's still gambling, right? But slots are the absolute fucking worst. Slots are the absolute fucking worst. They are mathematically created so that they are the most addictive. It sucks you in. And the way that, there are a lot of studies conducted on this. I want to really bring on Brace from TrueAnon and Liz to have this conversation at some point because they have read into this a lot and they've talked about it a lot. But like they are specifically slots on the internet are really, really, really fucking nefarious. And apparently, and it goes all the way to like DraftKings, right? Like it starts off with like DraftKings and a type of gambling that DraftKings does, all the way to like actual fucking slots. Slots being on the worst side of that, where most people, the reason why like you get free money to fucking gamble in all of these websites is because these guys are functionally looking for the one guy that will stay on. They make most of their money off of what they consider to be whales, people who are fucking going to lose everything. The websites are designed in a way for like, 10% of all of the people that you're targeting to stay there where they make 10% of the people that you are basically sucking into that gambling stream, to that gambling cycle, are going to be making up 100% of the revenue. Straight up. And it's so good. It's so viable for them that they can spend tens of millions of dollars on streamers, on everything else that they possibly can, because they can spend tens of millions of dollars on a streamer and they have a massive audience, but then, even 1% or 2% of that audience is going to become the big whales in that situation, and they're going to pay for the fucking marketing tenfold. They're going to be paying for the marketing because they are compulsive and they can't stop. Same thing with the crypto scam projects targeting compulsive gamblers. Yeah. That's how it works, okay? And some of the compensation strategy that these websites have on top of the millions of dollars that people are giving to streamers literally revolve around the streamer himself getting a percentage of how much money their fans are losing, which makes it doubly fucked up, okay? That's how it works. You're literally making money off of how many people are using your code to gamble to get that fucking free, to get that free like first $75 or whatever. And then you lose so much money, and a percentage of your losses are literally the payment that the people are getting. It's that fucked up. Straight up. It's that fucked up. But because of how much money because of how much money gambling platforms have, and because of how viable it is to focus on gambling as a consumer product, That's why you see DraftKings sponsor everything. That's why you see gambling websites sponsor everything. That's why they're all over the place. And that's why they're normalized and legitimized. Fake sign of Drake, so Canadians have seen. This was in my grandpappy's paper mail. Yeah.
I would have been out of my depth regardless.
I mean, I don't know. If I was you and someone...
It's amazing to me that Twitch hasn't stopped it or that a tech journalist hasn't capitalized on what would be a very juicy story. I think the reason why they haven't done it, is because gambling is so commonplace as a sponsor, as a main sponsor. Because if you're going to tackle gambling, you're creating like a really you're creating like a weird environment where it's kind of like, if you were to consider hot tub streams to be degenerate, right? The way to tackle that is really difficult. I don't personally think hot tub streams are degenerate, but some people do. If you were to tackle hot tub streams, and you were to clamp down on it, you have to get to a point where you're literally regulating what women can and can't wear in a two-tier system, basically, right? And the same goes for Gamba, because what constitutes for Gamba and what doesn't constitute for Gamba is relatively arbitrary. And also on top of that, there is a degree of legitimacy that comes from the billions of dollars this industry is cultivating, this industry is generating, and hundreds of millions of dollars in ad sponsorships that this industry gives to all of these other sports, where the sports themselves kind of become a vector for gambling, which is what the True Anon episode on gambling was focusing on, specifically looking at like DraftKings and its relationship with the NFL, for example. A lot of online gambling is turning into a metaverse type thing with now social aspects and more gamification. So they're making the environment way more aversive and addictive for gamblers. Yeah. Train is in a unique predicament, I think, because and I've said this since day one, I think he himself is like straight up fucking lost in the sauce. That doesn't excuse it, but he is like unironically lost in the sauce personally, if you know what I mean. But he's an addict. He's a fucking addict. And I think he recognizes that, and I think he feels conflicted about it. And maybe that's part of the reason why he's so giving all the fucking time nonstop, because he like battling his own demons. But I said this from day one, that like gambling is so fucking, it's just not great. It's so bad that like it'll break you. And gives away all his money. I mean, at least he feels bad about it. Lol. Yeah.
Dogpiled on me for doing something.
For the record, gambling is, I've talked about this before, but like gambling is literally the worst addiction. One of the worst addictions. It is the most suicidal addiction, for the record. For those of you who don't know, it's just, that is the truth. Okay. And it is, it's incredibly, incredibly hard to deal with. And it leads to debt. It ruins lives. It ruins families. It is really, really, really fucking hard. Yeah, gambling is the addiction with the highest rate of suicide. Yes. Went to a casino once for my grandma's birthday and was given money earmarked for gambling. It was so depressing seeing elderly people like hooked up to oxygen playing on nonstop. I mean, at that point, I don't really give a shit because they're not losing like too much money. As long as they're like fucking having fun, that's whatever. Who gives a shit? They're going to die anyway. But I'm talking about people who are like in the beginning of their lives. You know what I mean? People who are watching Twitch and then they start fucking crypto gambling. And then, this is just it. This is a demon that will haunt them for the rest of their lives. Dude, the old grandpa spent 20 cents a spin. Yeah, we're not talking about that. We're talking about 200K if fucking spin on cryptocurrency and shit. X is too. He just doesn't do it on stream, but he said it many times. He went to the bathroom for 5 minutes on the podcast that he even gambled in there. Yeah, it's just not great. I work at a casino. It's hella depressing. I feel conflicted about staying there morally. Yeah.
And then 6 months later, they did the same shit. I would tell them,
Perhaps. Yeah, it's just at the time, like, with all the Gamba stuff, the problem is always the misinformation. That's my problem. Because some things are wrong, but they're not, like, evil. And sometimes I feel like people know something is wrong, and it's easy to filibuster and just stack garbage. How do I say this? Let's say it's like a method of delivery. When everybody's against somebody, right? They're not gonna be as critical of information coming in if it's negative information, like stuff that's against.
Why would a rich person gamble? Gambling, it should be a rich person hobby to begin with. at least they have money to lose. You know what I mean? And even then, it like will fuck their lives up, and they will lose all of their money straight up. You don't have permission to watch this. Get your own content. What? Are you okay? What do you mean I don't have permission to watch this? Or did is that Iman on a fucking alt account? Like what? Get your own content. Also, I mean, what do you call it? I've done like he's defending his queen's views. I mean, that's ridiculous. This is literally someone else who Juice Extractor who posted this, and not only that, but also like I'm pretty sure I don't think Iman has a problem with me watching this. But it's a proportional rich person doing 5K spins, the same as a poor person doing 300 spins. Yeah. I'm not giving you permission to watch this. Okay, let's see.
So let's say, oh, everybody hates this. Oh yeah, and he also did that. Nobody's gonna go back and check if that's true or not. They're just gonna say, yeah, sure. The problem is that with the Gamma stuff, a lot of stuff was bad, but people were stacking garbage in the bad, making it look like it was complete. And then we were like,
no one's fact checking.
Yeah, and we're like, dude, why are you doing that? And then we go on the H2H podcast or whatever, and he's doing even more garbage, and we're like, dude, you're not just wrong here, man. Like
what? Like, what was he wrong about?
Dude, you guys are manipulating the wins during the stream, like, and we're like, dude,
you don't.
So I don't know if did Ethan say that? I don't even remember that personally, but like, I hate harping on that aspect of it because like there was no data on that. I don't even think Ethan said that. I think it was more. I never said it first and foremost because my attitude is I don't really give a fuck if you're like. If you're padding the fucking deck, you know what I mean? He absolutely did. I don't even care. I don't even care if you're doing that or not. I don't know if you're doing that or not, but I don't care. That's not the part of it that is bad for me personally. I think the part of which that is bad is like, you know, they're giving you millions of dollars because there's going to be people that will literally fucking turn around. And I think that's what we hyper focused on overall. Is that people are giving millions and millions of dollars. He did, and you backed him on it. Stop lying, lol, you piece of shit. Backtrack Andy yet again. I really do hope that you will get better, chatter. Really, really, really do hope. I believe in you. I believe you will get better, okay? I really hope you get better. I never said I said, and not only that, but I also don't care. I have not cared. Okay. Is there a point you'd ever personally reach out to X about getting treatment while himself has been on podcast and very addiction? Blowing $2 million a month on gambling losses is a lot even for him. I don't know how much he's not gonna fucking listen. Ethan's POV on Gambit was also informed by the experience with covering the CSGO Lotto stuff back in the day. There was a lot of data backing rigging. Yeah. I think focusing on the rigging aspect of it is not smart, especially if you don't have any evidence for it. I specifically remember you changing the topic when he started going down that road. Yeah, I mean, I know for a fact I said I don't care about that aspect. For me, it's more so the larger consequence of promoting gambling for, and I never realized how much shit you get. What the fuck? People got to chill for real. Yes, people get better overall. My argument always revolved around the reason why people pay you money when you're doing a Gamba stream. Might be doing it for content, and I know xQc is doing it for content because he already makes fucking millions. Okay. He's not doing it because he's going to get like the bag. He's doing it because a lot of people watch him. I know this because I know him very well. Him and I have very similar attitudes about like community management and also caring about content. He wants to entertain people and he thinks Gamba streams are entertaining. And he's right. They are entertaining. So I already know that like his attitude is because one, it's entertaining. He sees other people pop the fuck off. So he's like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to fucking do Gamba streams. I'm going to pop the fuck off doing Gamba streams. And then if they give me money while I'm doing that, then great. That's a win-win, right? That, I think, is his attitude and how he went down that fucking pipeline of doing, Gamba content. Most people start off that way too. Some people are just like, no, I want to make money. It's great. I need to make money and I want to make money. Still, though, it doesn't matter because no matter what happens, you still got to think about the ethics of like what you are. Bro, he doesn't need popping off like you. Wait, what? Sure, but you still supported and piled that shit at the time. Look at that smooth skin, though. Bro, he doesn't need popping off like you. If you think that xQc also doesn't care or has never cared about content, I don't know what to tell you. You're wrong. Why are there so many haters in here? No, they're not haters. I think they're just like xQc's little Zoomer juicer fanboys who are trying to explain his position away when I'm repeating what he's going to say here, no matter what. And then it turns into a personal addiction regardless, by the way. So ultimately, okay, I think Zoomer Juicer supporters are not understanding my position is exactly the same as his. I'm just criticizing him for it, and they think I'm in the wrong. But it captures you. It turns you into a fucking addict, and it's not good. It's really, really difficult to get out of.
I don't know that. Sorry, he doesn't know that, but you also don't know that.
Okay, so
which I think is, I mean, like you can't really argue that one way or the other. This is a genuine
misconception because there's two layers. I hate talking about this that much, but there is the host, the website, and there's a provider. These are two different entities. Provider makes games. They just literally make the game. And then
now they're talking about the distinction between the providers and the website because now they're having a conversation about like how the games are not rigged by the providers. Again, something that I do not. You would suck Trump for content, lol. Yeah, totally. Am I being like posted on a different platform or something? I am realizing that we're getting a lot of fucking weirdos in the chat. I think it's probably because like I would suck Trump off because, you know, I love that bussy. I want to see what that bussy do. Not because of the content. The content would be extra. Hold on 1 second. You're really going to tell me? You're really going to tell me, chatter, that you wouldn't want to see what this is about? You're going to sit here and tell me a fucking lie that you wouldn't want to see what's going on, what that butt do? Look at that dumper. Look at that fucking dumpy, dude. That is a bakery and a half. When he comes down with his ass cheeks clapping, okay? Sound of his ass cheeks clapping can be heard from miles away. The shockwave itself sets off car alarms. Bakeries close up shop because they've thought, that's it. That's it. We're out of business. The new bakery is in town. His ass is literally the Jeff Bezos Amazon of bakeries. And you're going to sit here and be like, oh, you'd suck Trump off too? Yeah. Maybe I would. Okay. Maybe I would. Make asses fat again. You're right, chatter. Not make America great again. Make asses fat again. Back shots sounding like a gun range. 50 cal. Beretta. Look at this slut showing off his little panty line too. Okay. Cover it up, slut. Okay. Okay, all jokes aside, let's get back to the main issue at hand here. Okay?
Right? Just has the game and gives the game. Does that make sense? So saying, oh, dude, they're just manipulating the whole juice and it's like, dude.
Someone said not on stake.
Yeah. I mean, it's all different companies. Plain Go, Pragmatic, whatever city. There's like a bunch of them. People talk about the live games. I'm talking about more about the slot version of it. The slots all have a provider. Hacksaw Gaming, Pragmatic Gaming.
I get what you're saying, and maybe that gives like your situation credit, but it doesn't discount the fact that there can very easily be scams on these games, and I'm sure that there are.
No.
Or
I mean, we know it's a scam.
Percentage.
Everybody knows it's a scam.
In the back.
Not a scam, but everybody knows it's rigged. It's like,
Sorry, no, I mean, I think they can very much rig it, benefit someone as well. Steak? I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't think that hosts can rig providers.
Maybe there are certain like that. But if someone's telling me, well, on Steak they don't do it like that.
Again, it doesn't matter. It's like frustrating that he is hyper focusing on like hosts rigging providers and stuff when that is like not important. I think like the main issue at hand, at least from my point of view, at least from where I'm standing, the main issue at hand has never been about like whether there's rigging going on or whether hosts are rigging. But more so, and always has been about like feeding addiction to your followers. And I think Iman is going to do a good job here. From what I saw, the brief moments that I watched, that she is going to do a good job of like, hyper focusing on that as being the main issue.
Like it's all one platform. I'd be like, well, I can't trust it because
it's a misdirection because like other people have brought it up probably. I was not one of those people, no matter how much people fucking point to it and be like, you did it. Okay. But ultimately it's more about the promotion of a vice that is like deeply, deeply addictive. Just like the vice I have, which is at the top of the hour, I serve you a 60-second ad break.
In the past, it's been proven that these kind of websites do rig shit.
Yeah.
So, like, why would I trust it?
I have to pee.
I'll
I'll be back.
They see.
I think it's fine to say that you don't think they do, but you can't prove that.
Yeah, but I think them saying that they do 100% and most of your wins are illegitimate. I think that's very disingenuous.
Yeah, that's reaching, and like they have no way to prove that.
Like he was saying, like, oh, dude, you got like multiple 400K wins, right? That can't be mathematically, and we're like, dude.
But overall, you've lost like millions.
Yeah, like we spin like fucking like 8,000 times to get fucking 10x bonuses.
Yeah.
I get 1,000x. Like, it's real. It's not like made. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
It's why it was upsetting that they were just stacking lies in the middle of the thing.
What's your take on gambling now? Streaming gambling.
It hasn't changed. I think gambling is content. I think it's fun.
Is that it?
I think gambling is fun. I'm okay. There's some topics that I'm okay being wrong about. That's one of them. I think gambling is fun. I enjoy doing it, and I don't see that much of a problem. I just wish people were more responsible with their thing and were more in line with how things are. You're watching degenerate rich people deep print money, right? Entertainment is being deep printed. Like, you don't have to go copy and do it. It's like saying that people are dying in skateboarding because of Jackass. Like, I get it. It's a problem also, but like, I'm just trying to make some content, have some fun, and spin some fucking machines. Like, I'm not trying to fucking reinvent the wheel. I don't know.
Do you think it's bad to take gambling?
Oh wait, so I was right. He did say that. He did end up saying he started it off because of content, and he was like, I'm gonna do it regardless because I want to do content, and if I get paid for it, that's how I felt. So all the fucking Zoomers who were like losing their shit, all the Zoomers that were fucking losing their shit earlier, all the juicers that were like, fuck you, why are you shitting on him? So his take was verbatim what I had said. That's interesting. If you have this kind of attitude where you're like, I think it's wrong when you say it, but it's okay when he says it, or your analysis here is incorrect because you're the one saying it, maybe just take a deep breath, think about it, and then, try to figure out why you feel this way. Dude, this is the problem, though. Content mindset is so shitty. The watering down of entertainer to content creators is a real thing. Changed my mind. No, I mean, I think, like, look, I know he cares more about fucking entertainment. Always maximizing, what he calls the juice, right? And it's the same for me as well. I care about entertainment. I want to make sure that, like, everyone is entertained. And if there are less people watching for a particular subject, that means like there are less people that are being entertained. Like that's just how you can offer basically a quantitative approach to something that is otherwise qualitative, right? And that's what this is. So I get why. Like he at the time he saw like other gambler streams like popping off, and he thought this is like fun content. I'm gonna do it for myself. I'm gonna do it myself as well. And then they were like, "Well, you're the largest streamer. We'll give you money." So he was like, "Sure, give me some money. I'm gonna do it anyway." So that's why he did it. It still doesn't matter because like ultimately, I think, you know, the ramifications of that or the consequences of that are not great for your audience.
Sponsorships on Twitch.
I don't think it's bad. I don't know. What I'll say though is that I think it's bad to take the ones that most of them are taking. So people will go.
A gambling sponsorship is the equivalent of a vodka company giving big streamers a bunch of water, telling viewers it's vodka, and having them chug entire bottles on camera and acting like it's fine. If you're being paid to gamble, you're not gambling. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's a decent analysis on the situation. I know that people will say like, well, what if I'm using my own money? Well, you're still getting paid to do it. When you get a sponsorship, you're getting paid to do it. Even if they are like, actually, that was kind of terrible. I don't think it's a terrible analogy at all. Like you're basically, you're sheltered from the most significant repercussions, except like, it's like really watered down alcohol, I guess, because in the long run, like you can still be impacted by it. You can still be impacted by it in the long run. You can become an alcoholic as a consequence of that. You can become a gambling addict as a consequence of the gamba streams you're doing yourself. That's a really, really good analogy, actually. God damn, we've been talking about this issue for such a long time, and I never thought about that. Once again, chatters significantly smarter than me, more creative, and funnier than me, as always. If you're receiving money from a sponsor, it cancels out your own money. You're using the gamble regardless. Yeah.
Against me for this, but things like train.
Genuinely concerned about people's critical thinking, saying that's a good analogy. They get paid to do it, but they lose their own money too. Okay, it's like, yeah, that's why I said maybe there's a little bit of alcohol in there too, enough that like it can make you addicted as well, and then you become an alcoholic personally as well. But ultimately, I think it's a solid analogy because you're still sheltered from the worst repercussions that your audience is being subjected to. And it's and the thing I've always said, and I keep repeating this point over and over again, is that like if it didn't work, you wouldn't get 10 million. Got caught saying you're boring in 4K, you're gonna get clipped by the haters. Yeah, whatever. Who cares? Fuck my dick. I say I'm a dumb himbo idiot all the time. Fuck. Dude. I swear to God, I am getting COVID brained. I fucking forgot what I was gonna say. God damn it. Hold on. Let me think real quick. Yeah, I forgot. Oh, the thing I repeat all the time is that like if it wasn't successful, if this method wasn't successful, streamers wouldn't be getting paid $10 million. You know what I mean? They would not want to give Mizkif 10 mil or whoever the fuck 20 mil, 10 mil, whatever, year-long contracts. That's how it works. Nobody's giving money to streamers out of the kindness of their fucking hearts. They're giving money to streamers because it works. It's an effective marketing strategy. All right?
I know for a fact, because I at the time I knew, and I spoke with the guys over there, the deals aren't what you would think they are. It's not like affiliate code shilling dog shit. Some of these guys, like, I don't know if you'll see in the slot categories, you go down in the description, and they have an affiliate code for like 12 casinos, and every day they change website. They change website like 4 times a day sometimes, right?
Weird.
Because they have deals with all the companies, and they just shill the codes, and the codes, they come from the viewers.
Yeah, he's describing what I've talked about, which is like affiliate code programs where the streamers themselves make money specifically off of, on top of like the regular, unconditional lump sum that they're getting. Affiliate codes are how the streamers make money off of your losses. And the way that those losses operate, they make like a percentage of the losses usually. Obviously, other people have like different deals. I don't know what everyone's deal looks like. But having said that, I mean, that's the worst of the worst, in my opinion. You're like directly milking your fan base in that system. And that's how casinos fucking make a shitload of money too, for the record, because you're literally relying on, like, you know, maybe 100 or 1,000 or whatever, 1% of your audience to become like deeply addicted to gambling. That's how casinos make money. For those of you who don't know, the reason why, for example, DraftKings is able to give 75 free fucking dollars to people, right? 75 free dollars to people to go and do DraftKings, or the reason why casinos give you money to go into the casino and gamble is because for every like 100 people that they can't actually suck in, that will just gamble one time and then go, all right, fuck it, this is not for me, I'm moving on. There's one guy that is going to literally pay for the 100 people and then some. That's how it works.
Feel the codes. Right? But I think that is weird. If your main juicer is the juicing the viewers, that's just disgusting.
No, but that's my point. That's what gambling sponsorships are. You're juicing your viewers.
Okay.
Because how else do they make money if not off of your viewers?
Brilliant take by Iman here. She's right.
Off of your viewers' L's.
That makes sense. It's kind of hard for me to rationalize it in a good thought. Okay. It does make sense, right? But if I'm going to gamble and do that for the exact same amount, sometimes it's kind of like, okay, well, I'm doing it anyway. Like, whenever I did, like, I gambled for like 4 days.
What they say about everything? For every 10 guys watching Twitch for free, there's one addict that will donate 25 subs. The addictive behavior in this situation is not a well-documented addiction or a vice. What you're talking about in that situation is not even functionally a part of Twitch's core revenue building strategy. It's just completely irrelevant to the conversation. What I'm describing to you is the 1% to 2% basically paying the way for casinos to fucking operate because they're dumping their entire earnings into it. That is completely different than, like, Twitch makes money and monetizes off of every single person that clicks on the platform and you know, monetizes off of like everyone's ad dollars. It's super duper fucking I don't even know how to describe how much more different that is. I don't know if that was a joke or not, but
and nobody had any problems with it, right? I gambled the 5th day, right, with a sponsor, and everybody got mad. I was gonna gamble regardless.
Like, people who gift subs do not give subscribers with the hopes that, like, it will be a return on their gifted subscription investment. You know what I mean? It's not even remotely comparable. I don't know if I took the bait.
How's that?
Okay. It's like a spectrum, in my opinion. And in my opinion, when you take millions of dollars in order to gamble on specific websites and platforms, you are on the end of the spectrum where you're teetering between bad and evil.
Why is it that every time you talk about dollar stuff on stream, chatters find a way to try and make you look shitty? Because socialism. Socialism means poverty.
In my opinion. You gambling for fun on multiple platforms, I'd put it in a gray area in the middle. Someone doing a poker tournament or gambling IRL, I put that, like, you know, much further on the other side because there are way more barriers of entry. You're saving one for a duck. Okay, good.
Oh, okay. I'll show the last one for sorry.
No, there's that last one, so you can eat the third one. Okay, because, like, if you're like, hey guys, if you end your stream, you're like, I'm gonna go gamble. Like, I'm not mad at you for saying that, even though
earlier when I went to the bathroom, I gambled in your bathroom.
That's crazy,
I don't care because, like, it's very different from streaming yourself on a platform that people can access very easily.
That's not good.
Versus,
it's not
like,
good.
Casinos,
That's like,
there's a reason that
that's
so
unhealthy.
Taxi
Panda Bear, thank you for the gifted subs. Please do not unhealthily gift me subs, which is similar to a gambling addiction, according to some in the chat. Not, but anyway. We got a gift sub addict, dude.
there, you need your ID, you gamble with cash. Like, there's all these barriers that make it less likely for people to lose money or become addicted.
You're not wrong.
But sorry, wait. Can I just say one last thing?
Yeah, I just mean at the same time, doing the gambling does that as well.
But
it doesn't exacerbate that.
But
Go ahead.
especially when you are taking money from a sponsorship, the only reason they're giving you that money, like, what is their business model? Their business model is to profit off of your viewers.
Okay, no, yeah,
So
that makes sense.
they get that money and they give you some of that money. So
Okay.
you're just juicing your viewers.
Okay.
Thank you, Catalina's Red
you're
Era
right.
and
This
Rufio
does make sense.
Overwatch.
I agree.
Thank you, Catalina's Red Era
Let's
for the
say-
10.
Okay.
Let's say.
Rufio Overwatch for the 5.
Not even let's say. Okay. I buy 500K
Howard.
worth of crypto.
Sorry, yeah.
Right? And I load up my account. And I'm saying I'm gonna gamble for 4 days.
And Manny
Right?
Kun for the 7.
Yep.
So I
Or
gamble
for
for
the
4
5
days,
gifted.
Yep.
and I lose 200K over 4 days.
Okay.
My 2 last days were sponsored, so they paid me for gambling. I didn't even use the money. It was raw balance the whole time.
Okay.
Was one right, one wrong, or both wrong, or both right?
I think
What's the
if you're
distinction?
gambling on your own time, that's your decision. I don't really give a fuck. If you're streaming yourself gambling, especially a lot of money, you need to accept that you are having a negative impact on your
Yeah,
viewers.
absolutely, 100%. Yeah,
Right?
okay, yeah, I can,
and
I can,
then
I can
the
take
fact
advantage
that
of that. Yeah.
that company is giving you money on the 4th or 5th day.
Bro, I swear to God, she's doing a great job. I feel like I've literally described it as this, no? Like, when me and Ethan talked about this, like, isn't this how I described it? I feel like I said, like, there are varying degrees of, like, wrongdoing in this situation. And it's, like, at the height when it's literally getting paid for an affiliate program. Yes, you have 100%. She's doing a great job, by the way.
They're just telling you this is how much of a negative effect you're having on your viewers.
Okay, yeah.
It's this much, millions.
So basically, it is like an agree.
Thank you,
People-
D-Design,
people
for
that
the
everybody
10
just said
gifted
they're
subs.
both wrong. And you know what? You know what that means, right? It means that they just are against the fact they're just against gambling and promoting gambling, or just even just doing it without a sponsor. Which I think is
Streaming gambling is what.
yeah, exactly. Paid or unpaid. 'Cause
People
you said
agree
that-
with your takes as long as it doesn't come out of your mouth. Yeah, I mean, I think people agree with my takes even when it comes out of my mouth too. They're just but that's irrelevant though.
both are wrong. If they say both are wrong, then they're just against the streaming of gambling, which is fair. You can be against it. I'm personally not against it. I understand the right, the wrongs. It's just a matter of it.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna do it. I enjoy doing it. I'm like a gambler at heart, literally.
I think it's like, I think you can say that you enjoy some. Okay. Being
Also,
completely
yeah, Sean the Black is right. My gambling takes were pretty well received. I don't think people got mad at me for my gambling shit, for my gambling takes. The only people that got mad at me were like deranged haters. You know what I mean? That was oh God, why am I talking about this shit? It doesn't matter. All right, let's
honest with
just
you, I
stay
think
on
the
the
only
subject.
reason you say that you're not against it is because, one, you've done it, and two, you enjoy it. But you can have done something and think that it's fun and agree that it is a bad thing to do.
It is a bad thing.
Yeah. But I feel like sometimes you say, no, it's not a bad thing, I'm not against it.
Okay. Makes sense. It's a bad thing. I'm not against it.
It's a bad thing, but you should be against it. Okay, wait, what do you define
Okay.
as being against something?
Okay. I think also you shouldn't be drinking excessively, and you shouldn't be
shouldn't-
taking sponsors for alcohol on stream. I think it's bad.
I think so
still
too.
do it.
If you think it's bad, why do you do it?
Because I want to.
I actually think taking alcohol sponsorships is so far from casino stuff, actually, or gambling.
I think drinking is a massive problem, if not as big as gambling, that destroys families across the nation.
I think the difference between like drinking responsibly, I think the difference between drinking responsibly and becoming like an alcoholic is different than gambling responsibly and becoming a gambling addict. I don't know how to describe it. And I don't know, like, I'm sure that there's empirical evidence backing this for sure. Even then, Like, the reason why I liked what the chatter said about alcohol sponsorships is because, like, if you literally fucking did the, you know, $200K per roll equivalent, you know what I mean? Like the pumping $50,000 into a stock or into a fucking stock.com or whatever the fuck, like stake.com gamba machine, slot machine, and hitting it over and over again, the equivalent for alcohol on that would literally be to down an entire fucking Fireball bottle. Okay? Just like straight up, just down an entire bottle and be like, you should do this too. And also, if you want to move on to that analogy further, you're not even drinking a real fucking bottle of alcohol. You're drinking a fake bottle of alcohol with a little bit of alcohol in it. And also on top of that, there is the same fucking safeguards that exist in society normally that would stop you from being able to gamble when you're underage, for example, are completely taken away because you can buy the alcohol directly off the stream by using a VPN or something and have it delivered to your house immediately. Like, the accessibility of online casinos and the way that you can get around the safeguards that otherwise would normally make it impossible for someone who's under the age of 21 to be able to go out and fucking gamble their life savings, the ease and accessibility of online casinos make it so much worse, I think. Does that make sense? And from an excessiveness equivalent, yes, it would literally be like fucking downing an entire handle and being like, look, I can do it. You can do it too. When you're pumping fucking, 50 racks into every fucking spin on what you're gambling. No motherfucking soul that watches Train is going to gamble with anywhere close to this money. Yeah, you're not understanding that though. For someone who doesn't have a lot of money, Train is gambling, what, 50K a fucking spin. You're not going to do that, obviously. You don't have that kind of money. But you're seeing his wins. You're not really recognizing the losses. The wins are significantly more important to you. Actually, no, it's not even true. Hold on. There is evidence on this. Hold on. This is, again, I'm remembering information right now. Let me describe something to you. Gambling addiction is not about wins or losses. It's about reaction. And it's about the weight. You get the dopamine not when you win. You don't get the dopamine when you lose. You get the dopamine when you're in that brief moment when you're waiting to see if you won or you lost. Did you guys know this? It's actually the chase. It has nothing to do with the wins or the losses, which is why it's such a damaging and crippling type of addiction. Many people think, oh, no, I'm gambling because, like, oh, I love the fucking wins and I'm gambling because I want to make money. No, you're gambling because the anticipation of whether you lost the money or you won more money is what keeps you coming for more. That's why gambling addicts like Michael Jordan, for example, will gamble on like insane shit. You know what I mean? If you've ever had like a gambling addict in your life, if you know anything about gambling addicts, like they will gamble on anything. It's not about like making money for them. It's about literally trying to create that same anticipation over and over again in your life in every capacity. Yeah. By the way, that's 100% a fact. This is like people have what do you call it? Like people have been studied. This has been studied endlessly. Like what people to gamble and what people are trying to get out of gambling. And you see their fucking brain activity spike in moments where they're anticipating more than when they win or when they lose. So, it's a really, really damaging aspect. Addiction is about how you feel and less about what you're doing and its consequences. Yeah. And for the record, that's why I was saying, like, yeah, Train is dropping 50 racks, but you're dropping the 50 racks equivalent for your own personal life. Do you understand? You're dropping 50 racks in your own personal life, whatever the equivalent of 50 racks is. For you, it might be $300 that you don't have. You know what I mean?
It's an insane problem and destroys literally youth, growth, childhoods. That's a big problem. But yet one is okay and one is another. No. I think they're both bad, and I still do both.
I think they are both bad. One is more normalized, and the other is just like, holy shit, why are we making something that's bad even more normalized? I think they're both shitty. But I'm very surprised that like you're so willing to exclaim why it's so bad, but you'll still do it just fine. Like what? Why?
Okay.
That's kind of surprising.
No, I understand.
To me.
I understand.
Like if
That's
anything, you sound passionate. Like alcohol ruins families. So does gambling.
Gambling is worse for addictive behavior than alcohol is in some ways. At least it's the most suicidal of addictions. That's a fact as well. But I think part of it is because like the accessibility of alcohol and how many people can actually socially drink without like becoming an alcoholic creates this like weird headspace where you legitimately think like, well, alcohol has a larger impact on society. Yes, that's true. But the people that do actually end up getting addicted to gambling, people that end up getting addicted to gambling, it's like really, really difficult to get out of it. And also, like the way that they get addicted is somehow alcohol destroys your body. Why compare them? They're both bad. I mean, I agree. I do agree. I think alcohol addiction is horrible too. Do not misunderstand me. I'm not saying that one is better than the other. I'm saying that both are bad, but one can have worse consequences.
Okay. Yeah, but Pluto says they're not mutually exclusive. Yeah, I get it. The point is that I enjoy doing it.
I think your subjective experience doing it is
because it's fun. It's fun, and I can afford it. I can afford doing it.
Just because it's fun doesn't mean it's like, okay. Would you have as much fun gambling if you were doing it off stream than on stream?
Yeah, I gamble every day. I lost 2 mil this month.
Really?
I lost 1.85 mil this month.
Guys, don't gamble. Okay. I think you can do something and say it's bad. Like, I think you should say that you're against it because you say that it's bad.
Gambling addiction in the brain. Gambling, whether it be lottery, scratch cards, casino, bingo, slot machines, internet poker, or sports betting, is more acceptable and accessible than ever before. For most people, it's a recreational activity, but for a significant minority, it progresses to a serious problem. And that minority basically fucking runs that entire industry. And the marketing that revolves around gambling almost entirely revolves around trying to find that significant minority and trying to create a group of individuals that are more susceptible to being in that significant minority to literally fucking basically keep the whole thing afloat. Clearly, you have nothing worthwhile to do with so much money. No disrespect. Okay. Bro, if you lost that kind of money gambling, the internet would explode. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's not. I have like crazy haters. xQc does not. You know, that's different. I mean, he also literally wore a Dolce & Gabbana fucking shirt to the casino stream. And you don't see motherfuckers canceling him over how much money he spent on that. He has a McLaren that he can't drive. He can do things that I can't. It's just how it is. We know this already. You just have to like live with that. And plus, I don't even want to I don't want to become a gambling addict and lose $2 million a month on gambling. That's not a person saying he likes socialism. That's the cost, unfortunately. It's not a real cost. It's only a cost if you guys are fucking stupid. That's why I always say, don't play into the dumbass right-wing memes.
Even if you do it, you get what I mean? I mean, I know some people would probably call you a hypocrite for it, but I don't really think so.
No, I try not to be a hypocrite. It's not that. I understand it's kind of hard. It's like a spectrum of bad. It's like taking a sponsor for a game you know is complete ass crack, and you're saying, this game is fantastic and will make you have good grades and have women, right?
It's not like, okay.
That's bad, but you still do it though. It's the same narrative.
Pause, champ.
You know it's bad and you still do it.
If someone buys Pirates in Space 3 because I told them that it was good and they end up having a shit time, that's not going to ruin their lives or their families. Gambling is different.
Yeah, no, she's absolutely correct on this, by the way. That's not a great argument at all. Like Raid Shadow Legends or whatever, or I don't even know how that fucking game operates, but like all matter of marketing is not the same. Obviously, marketing is still inherently about deception, right? if you want to consider it that. Even if you're literally fucking showcasing certain and highlighting certain good aspects of a game and not the bad ones, you're still marketing a game that's not going to be perfect. Some people are not going to like it. Some people are going to like it. It doesn't matter. But ultimately, it's not like you're fucking. It's not comparable in any meaningful capacity. Is Raid Shadow Legends gambling? People are saying it's gambling. I don't know. I've never. They've reached out many times. I've never actually fucking worked with them. I played it, so I don't. Well, regardless, it's not correct.
Are they similar instances in a sense? Yes. Are they comparable directly? No. Apples to oranges, dude.
Apples to oranges. I think it's why I don't think I'm a hypocrite about it, because inherently.
Do you still do gambling sponsorships?
Nope, I just gamble off stream. I'm on a down
Then
streak.
I don't think you're a hypocrite at all.
Okay, but I still think that sponsors are still kind of fine. It depends. I think it's give and take.
Why do you think they're kind of fine?
Bro, you're watching a motherfucker who's addicted personally, okay? Try to rationalize it and cope with his own personal addictions while simultaneously recognizing that it's not the greatest thing to do to your audience, which is why he stopped doing it. That's it. Why didn't you continue doing it? If you don't care, if you have no moral qualms with it. But, you know, it's just, yeah, he doesn't. That's it. That's the point. Like, that's probably part of the reason why you stopped.
Because at the end of the day, at a certain point, I think people can claim a certain amount, not all, of responsibility for their own actions. And people can, if you try your best.
Ray just brings up the question of whether or not gacha games are gambling or not, and knowing someone who spent $800 a month on Genshin Impact is definitely gambling. I don't know what gacha. I don't even know what gacha streams are or gacha games are, to be honest. So I'm not aware of what Raid is. But if you understand that, like, there are some games that have gambling in them, right, built into them, like loot boxes and shit like that. Even then, it might be seen as a gateway drug into like hardcore gambling. And for that reason, it's like still bad. However, we're talking about the difference, for example, between like poker and poker streams, right? Which I watched last night and it was very entertaining. And like straight slots. Poker still requires some degree of skill. It's still gambling because of the cards that you get. The cards that you get, you have no control over, right? But in that situation, there's no method for slots. It's just slots. It's just pure luck. And it's created in a way to like suck you in with the colors and the expectation itself. And it's literally like, it's the difference between like doing microdosing mushrooms and you're like fucking mainlining heroin. You know what I mean? Like, sure, they're both drugs, but the way it fucks your brain up is entirely different. And the accessibility of it is entirely different. Like, how quickly it can fuck your brain up is entirely different. Gacha is slots, but for anime? Oh, gacha is slots? Okay. I don't know what gacha is, so I can't, I can't speak on that. But I'm talking about, like, loot boxes and shit. And even then, I don't like that either, like the loot box stuff.
To mitigate some of the influence and some of the negative one, I think people still have a brain in their heads. And when they
basically loot box type games that directly affect your competitiveness within the game. Oh, okay. So gacha is weeb loot boxes. Is that what it is? Gachapon, the little capsule toys in Japan. The other Hasan is coming to speak at my uni. Should I buy tickets? Yeah, he's great. Okay, I'm learning so much right now about things I did not know. Gacha is like trading cards. Gacha games are games randomly generated benefits in a game that is usually free to play, but implies are hard to win. Pay to win mentality that encourages players to spend larger sums of money and a chance to win a rare item, very small chance, in order to progress yourself through the game further. These games also make it super hard to progress if you do not spend cash. It is literally pay to play, not pay to win. Any game where you pull summons is a gacha game. So like Genshin, FFBE, Raid, FIFA, NBA 2K, Madden is short for Gachapon, which are capsule machines in Japan. Okay, got it. Dude, as soon as I said, I don't know what gacha is, I know that there's someone in the chat that said, you talk a lot for not knowing anything. about the things you're talking about. Let me guess. Someone say that? Not knowing anything about gacha doesn't fucking... All right, let's see. Did I snipe it? Oh, here it is. There it is. Yeah, you tend to not know a lot. Motherfucker, we're talking about gambling addiction, and I'm giving you empirical evidence as to how gambling fucking works in your brain and teaching you things that you had no fucking idea on how it works. Just because I don't know what fucking gacha games doesn't mean that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about with respect to how addictive behavior works, with respect to dealing with addiction, both from all of the research that I've read, and not only that, but also my own personal experience as well. Suck my dick.
Through the whole process of...
And I'm fucking addicted to sniping idiots, so...
buying crypto or buying whatever and putting it into a system that's extremely voluntary and has a bunch of gates and steps behind it, and then that's very voluntary. And I don't think they're getting like mind controlled for it. And I think I'm getting the good guidelines, like having a 18 plus thing, they will not to gamble. Some of these guys, they're like, dude, you should, if you, I'm not kidding. So some of the conversations I had with some of these owners or whatever, they're like, go on your stream and you should show them how much you're losing when they say like, you can show deposits, show withdrawals, show how much money you're losing, and tell them not to gamble and not use the website, literally. But they know people are going to do it regardless. They don't mind you doing that. It's like if a game told you that you can play the game and say the game is dog shit. That's why I don't mind playing a game sponsor when they tell me that there's no talking points and I can say whatever I want. And sometimes I'll take sponsorships and I'll say this game is dog shit. I had a huge sponsor last time for Modern Warfare. I was playing the game and I said, yeah, this sometimes I'm dying and I'm dying. This game is ass crack, but they let me do it.
To be completely honest,
I'm trying to be genuine about it.
I understand what you're saying, but I think all of those points are heavy justifications and copiums to make you feel better about what you're doing. Not just you, but people in general who do this.
Fair enough.
And it's like the gambling companies tell you to do that to try to convince you that it's an okay thing to do.
Yeah. Also, you can't rationalize with an addict. Like, they're number one at fucking justifying their behavior, one to themselves and to everyone around them. They got a fuckload more experience on that. You know what I mean? Like, it's, if you yourself have ever struggled with addiction, or if you know someone who's struggled with addiction, you already fucking know. Like, trying to logically and reasonably debate their addiction is an impossible venture.
But this actual human behavior, this ends up relating more to like, how do you view human behavior in general? Your take is like, at the end of the day, it's that person's responsibility.
If I wanted to study human behavior, I would have stayed in school.
But I'm explaining that your point is that, oh, people can't really be influenced. It's their responsibility to make a decision. And like, yeah, sure, but you cannot deny the influence that occurs to people. If they hear something enough times, if something looks cool enough, they're gonna do it no matter how shitty it is. And sure, it is their responsibility. Like, you shouldn't be sued by them for the money that they lose. Okay, maybe not to that extent, but it's still your fault that you caused that influence.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I can agree with you to some degree. I still think that if you take the proper steps and proper guidelines, you can kind of mitigate the problem and still have the content. I said it last time. I think gambling is content. I think it's fun.
I think so too.
It is content.
I mean, that's why, like, I'm not mad about like Rust gambling or even poker tournaments or other things like that.
Yeah. Dude, and even slots itself is content, clearly. Like, hella people fucking watch Train do slots for hours and hours and hours. He's got like fucking 30K people sitting in his chat watching him, right? So it's a really weird situation if you're like hyper focusing exclusively on maximizing the juice, maximizing the content, making it as like fun as possible for your audience as an entertainer. It's like doubly addictive because you're addicted to the built-in audience that has. You're addicted to your overarching goals are aligning in this like really damaging and nefarious way, because like your ultimate goal is to make as much content as possible and, you know, make it as fun as possible. So when you got fucking hella people, it's like reinforcing you to continue doing that. No one would watch people do slots if they were doing $1 spins though. I mean, yeah.
But when it comes to like taking gambling sponsorships, literally that is just your viewers' money.
Yeah, but sometimes I think people like and they enjoy seeing money being deprinted.
Sure. I don't disagree
I
with you.
think deep printing money is also fun.
I'm surprised.
Something being content doesn't make it okay. Lol, what? Wait. How did you arrive at that conclusion? I'm not saying it's okay. As a matter of fact, I don't think it's okay, and I've talked about it a lot. I've talked against it a lot. I've always talking about what xQc is saying. If you're saying that that's what xQc's take is, and you're arguing with him, then
at like the heavy copium in the chat, likely from people that are.
I mean, he's added me, so I thought he was talking to me. My
don't
bad.
even gamble, that are like, she's missing the point. I understand it's people's responsibility, but that doesn't detract the fact that I'm influencing their actions.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying?
True. In that case, I wish people advocated harder and stronger against smoking, vaping, drugs, talking about drugs,
Sure.
Alcohol, consuming alcohol, sponsors for them, the whole scope. I wish people that were as adamant
but
about
just
all these
because-
things across the board, not be a nitpick Andy.
I agree, actually.
But yeah, that's whataboutism, and it's a deflection method. And I'm the referee now, dude.
However, I will say that just because all of these things are bad doesn't mean we should allow more bad stuff.
Not wrong. I'm just telling you that.
I do think if someone is like, smoke whatever every day and like drinking and doing all of this shit, and then they're like, oh my god, but gambling, no.
Yeah.
Like,
so,
I understand how that can feel high road-ish.
So I'm kind of wrong, and I'll double down about being wrong, but I won't take getting high-roaded by people who do dog shit. And that's not even whataboutism. It's not whataboutism. I'm not saying what.
Part of the reason why they never mentioned what I have to say on this regard, because like I don't do any of the other stuff, but then they'll hyper focus on any of the fucking retractors like Mizkif that have their own personal like Fireball Fridays or whatever. It's like, okay, but that doesn't matter. It's still you're not hyper focusing on the main issue at hand.
What about this? What about that? I'm saying you're not personally gonna high road me as somebody who does the other shit. I agree that it is wrong, and I'll double down on it. But you're not gonna act superior, or some of the people are acting superior. You're not gonna do that.
You do nicotine gums? Yeah, dude, it's fucking incredible. Are you kidding me? Not only do I chew nicotine gum, but I literally fucking tell people that it's an incredible way to stop smoking. There are probably people in this community that have been able to stop smoking because they started chewing nicotine gum. Are you insane? Did you literally just try to use that as a fucking counter? Not only do I not have like a nicotine gum sponsorship or anything like that, but I chew it myself personally. But nicotine gum helps you get off cigarettes, which is a significantly fucking more awful a vice that fucking kills you. What? That's how I stopped smoking cigarettes. I'm the one who stopped smoking because of your recommendation of Nick Gum. Thank you for adding years of my life. Yeah, what? Dude, what the fuck? I can't believe you just fucking did that. I can't believe you just used nicotine gum as an example, dude. Are you kidding me? It's literally fucking, it's awesome. I should promote nicotine gum further.
Your whole brand is you being fucking high. What are you talking about?
I think he's talking about Ethan. Is that what he's talking about or something?
I'd rather someone promotes weed than gambling, though. I'll be honest. I would much rather.
I was talking about Pokeballs.
One of my friends smoked some weed, some fake weed, and I was into fucking asylum.
Asylum.
Oh
no.
my god, what?
Oh no.
Thanks, Poke.
Now he's in asylum. This is what Poke taught me.
Nah, I'm just doing some copium whataboutism. We shouldn't do whataboutism, okay? I wish you understood this is a behavior I do a lot, okay? But it doesn't justify it. Like, should I laugh at this joke? Should I make this joke? Should I make fun of this guy? Should I insult this guy? I shouldn't. I still do it, right?
Sorry. on him. Should I be an asshole? I shouldn't, but I do it. It's like the inner monologue. Sorry, go on.
Okay.
How do you understand a word he says?
That's gonna
You
have
just
to about
listen
these
to him
things.
enough.
And I just wish that people understood
Nicotine gum
sometimes.
is just another ploy to get people addicted to nicotine. The real nasty shit that got me to quit was pouches for 2 weeks. They're disgusting and got me off nicotine completely. Fuck no, dude. Pouches are fucking awful. Pouches are really addictive. What are you talking about? I literally started smoking cigarettes. I started chewing tobacco first, and then I started smoking cigarettes. No, you're absolutely wrong. And pouches still have carcinogens in it. Nicotine gum, at least, the worst part of nicotine gum is just nicotine. No, you're wrong about that, chatter. Ugh, pouches are terrible. Homies don't know. I used to fucking literally do grizzly long cut wintergreen, okay? Straight up, horseshoe, double horseshoed up, spitting everywhere. I had my fucking little water ball that I'd spit into, you know what I mean? Yeah, dude, I was a grizzly boy. Okay, goddamn. I was dipping like a freak, dude. Whoo! Shit was fire. I mean, it's not. It's really bad. Don't do it, obviously. It's really, really horrible. And it'll fuck your life up. Cigarettes are really, really difficult to quit, dude. I will never go back. Nicotine patches are better, though, because the gum still reinforces the addictive highs and lows. The patch gets you out of that. I have heard of this, but the reason why gum is actually pretty good is because you can substitute it for regular chewing gum. Because I have an oral fixation. Stop saying Florida man. Stop saying Florida man. Stop saying Florida man. Okay, it's not Florida man thing. They're talking about salt, nicotine pouches, not chew. Wait, pouches are like still they have tobacco in them, right? Are there actual like nicotine pouches? Just pure nicotine? I don't think so.
It doesn't come across, or does it come from another narrative in my head? Some ulterior, other sort of mind pattern. That's where it comes from.
Snus still has tobacco in it.
That is something I replicate a lot, right? Yeah, maybe you're going to convince yourself that I have another mindset or another thing, right? Mm-hmm. But the reality is I don't. I know it's bad. I still do it. I understand the points behind it. Maybe I need to have a shift of perspective. Maybe I need to go out there, look around.
Snus.
I don't know.
I think if you ever saw a family that was like detrimentally impacted by gambling, you would understand why it's the kind of.
I lost a family member to gambling.
The fuck? He's like, I still don't give a shit.
Yeah, like, I mean, the person is no longer with us.
Really?
Yeah, to gambling.
Can you explain?
Yeah, but I understand that.
What?
Because you know.
But then why wouldn't you want to minimize the influence that it has within a society? And I feel like allowing it to be something that you can do online,
it's something
and
I
it's
like
so
doing,
accessible.
and I want to do it, and I can afford to do it. And so I'm trying to tell people is that
yes, but
yeah,
when you're
I
streaming it, you're encouraging this to people who cannot afford to do that.
Yeah,
that's
and
the
I
issue.
think to an extent,
I'm not mad at you
by
for doing it on your own time.
Doing stuff on stream influences people overall.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And it's kind of hard to dodge that.
Yes.
And that's going to happen. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's content. I think it's fun to do. I think it's generally fun to watch. But I understand the problems about it. So I don't know. It's kind of like a. Yeah, I don't know actually. Yeah, I have to have more thought to it.
Okay. I
would think spinning for hours, dead spins, getting absolutely nothing. You know, sometimes it's a good anti-gambling ad, but I understand that people will still be influenced by the one win or the one fucking 1000x on fucking Razor Shark or whatever. Like, oh my god, dude, seaweed, ding, 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 ding. But it's like, dude, I spun for 8 hours only dead spins to get there. And they'll only get that segment.
When you say, like, we should talk about it more, at the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding, and the pudding is how much money these companies are willing
She's
to
right.
give.
So, y'all are mad at xQc for streaming gambling while Tucker Carlson streams to millions on Fox. LaMafayette. Wait, what? What kind of fucking insane take is this? Do you think we're not covering Tucker Carlson regularly? What the fuck? That was a wild one, dude. Especially here of all communities. Like, there's got to be a joke. Anyway, this community famously loves Tucker Carlson. We love Tucker Carlson, famously. He's brain damaged Hasan fan. If you think that a person who comes in here and says Tucker Carlson is streaming to millions and y'all don't talk about it, if you think that they're a fan, I don't know what to tell you. There's a lot of focus by xQc on the wins when the chase is one of the greatest factors in developing gambling addictions. Yes. So this is why it's important. And this is something that I did not know originally, and I learned, right? And I am describing it to you. It's not the wins and the loses. It's the chasing of the high. The moment where your fucking brain starts firing up all of its synapses is not necessarily when you win, and it's not when you lose. It's the anticipation leading up to it. That's why gambling is so damaging and so nefarious and so awful. I did not know this. I did not know this originally, okay? But there's plenty of evidence that showed it to me. Even before I knew this, however, I would tell xQc in the conversation that we had that it was more so about, people hyper-focusing on the wins and not necessarily the losses, and that possibility is what drives people to go and do it, because they don't remember the million fucking losses that Train had, and even if they do see the losses, they think, I'm different, I'm built differently, I want to fucking recreate that big win. That's what fucking drives them into going and doing it. That's what is the starting point for so many of them. But once you are sucked in, once you're already a gambler, the mere mention of gambling itself, even when you're talking about it in this regard, kind of fucking gives people that craving where you're like, "Ooh, I'm reminded. Maybe it'll be my day today." So yeah, that is how it works. I knew this because I watched Kakegurui, the anime version of Mean Girls. Yeah, Kakegurui. Wait, they talk about that? That's wild. They talk about the top of the hour ad break at Kakegurui. At the top of the hour, where there's a 60-second ad break that if you no longer want to see, all you need to do is subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Are rappers bad people for influencing drugs and gangs? Great question. Now, here is the reality about art and culture. I'm not going to sit here and fucking complain about Casino or any number of different movies that have gambling in them. That is, because I have a brain cell and I can figure out that there's a difference between people literally directly gambling for 8 fucking hours, someone that is profoundly influential to a broad audience, and like seeing gambling in. As far as rappers promoting drugs and gangs or whatever, they are describing their livelihood, their lives, their lifestyles. It is more so a reflection on what they do. It's also art. I am not an advocate to ban video games because I think like video games are causing violence. I'm not an advocate to change culture in any capacity like that, because there's a difference between xQc raging, for example, or xQc making content by killing motherfuckers in a video game versus xQc playing xQc doing Gamba nonstop. Taylor Swift didn't actually kill a guy, Lamau. Yeah. I once heard Future and now I'm addicted to perks. Seeing the professional poker player on Ludwig stream act like a baby was funny as fuck, bro. I love Gamba streams. No, Gamba is good content. And like, even then, poker still, while it is gambling, okay, and you should not do it, you will fuck your life up. It still requires a degree of skill in comparison to just fucking doing straight rolls. You know what I mean? Like straight fucking stake.com rolls nonstop. I've been dying for you to talk about this. There's a difference in art between something like Uncut Gems, which literally has a man destroys life by gambling, and something like Wolf of Wall Street, who's now glorified as a girl boss who's gotten millions of followers in business school looking for ways to be the next Belfort. But even then, like, poker is player per player. It's not player versus an automated machine. There's a degree of skill involved in it. Even with blackjack, I would say there's a degree of skill involved in it. No such thing exists for just clicking a button. So on the varying degrees of bad, I would say that is so much worse than the other ones.
Give streamers. Whatever they're giving streamers, they're making back.
Vegas, not true, dude. Train is the slot whisperer.
So much more. And everything they make back is your viewers' losses. Like
Okay.
that's the only
I gotta pee again.
actual
Holy
piece
fuck,
of
I'm peeing a
evidence
lot.
we have regarding this. We're not running trials on like
God damn it.
how much are people being addicted, how much are doing this, moderately.
Yeah.
We can't we just don't have enough data like that. That's the
then I'm
only
gonna be honest
point
with
that
you,
we can
and I'll
actually
guess,
go off of.
If I were to have this perspective right now, then I can genuinely tell you, with absolute certainty, and I feel bad about this almost, that I've taken game sponsors that have, because I know the stats behind it, that have been actually worse than some of the Gamba shit. Just because
I think games are no big deal.
I played and got sponsors to play games that are absolute dog garbanzo, right? For insane amount of money.
Yeah, I really don't think that's a
And
big
that
deal.
money, that money's people's money. No?
No. They're very different things because, listen, do I think it's good to promote something that you hate? No. But is it as detrimental as promoting gambling? Not even close. Because again, if someone spends $20 on a game and it ends up being shit, oh, well, fuck, that's $20 down the line. If someone ends up doing what you do and gambling and then loses their entire livelihoods, that's their life on the line.
Okay. So, then, are you against the concept that, let's say, I take a Genshin Impact sponsor,
Okay.
right? For it was
It's a great game.
Was it 2 hours? And it was an absurd amount.
Yeah, but
And I
Genshin is
spent
great.
every minute gambling in the menus with packs.
But wouldn't the people who get influenced to gamma by a Twitch stream be the same person who ultimately ends up making a life full of bad decisions because they're easily influenced? Where's the personal accountability? Some people can't be helped. No, I think personal accountability factors into this. It's just more so about the personal accountability that us streamers have in this circumstance of pushing people towards that lifelong, making it easier for people to fuck up. That's it. That's the point. So yeah, personal accountability is important. You should take personal accountability, but what you also should recognize that we as content creators also have personal accountability in pushing people towards that, making it easier for them to get involved with, bad choices, a life of bad choices, especially considering that, again, and I don't know how to describe this to many of you, but gambling is a multi-billion-dollar industry. xQc is better looking than you. I agree. I think he's a beautiful person. He is a very good-looking guy. Anyway, as I was mentioning, gambling is a multi-billion-dollar industry that mathematically is designed in a way to suck in those people who are susceptible to becoming gambling addicts that will destroy their lives and that will, go so far as to make them kill themselves. That makes sense? I hope you guys understand that. So it's really, really, really nefarious. It is much, much more serious than you understand. You think you're built differently. You can think that you're above it. You can, say oh, well, it's the person's fault. But ultimately, not all things are the same. The impact that certain things have on people's lives is a little bit different. Yeah, all marketing can be considered to be nefarious or bad, but ultimately some kind of marketing is worse than others, especially when you're marketing gambling in the same way.
Right?
But again, so is the drinking industry, so is the cigarettes industry, so is the consumer industry, all which I love apart from the cigs. No, consumerism industry is not the same as deeply addictive substances. Every single thing that you just mentioned have a varying degree of problems. And by the way, it is bad if you're fucking taking a vape sponsorship or if you're taking a fucking cigarette smoking sponsorship. And people would be way more fucking angry at someone who is taking a cigarette sponsorship if such a thing even fucking existed. But there's a lot of rules around that. Okay, there's a lot of rules around what, even with alcohol, there's a lot of rules with what you can market and how you can market it. On television, for example, you will never see someone drink beer, right? You won't see someone put alcohol on their lips. Why? Because we're fucking halal? No, it's not, because it's illegal, because that's a visual trigger. There are rules that you are unaware of that you probably take for granted. There's a reason why you can't just fucking walk into a casino and start gambling at the age of 12. You know what I mean?
So technically, I'm trying not to do the whataboutism here. I'm just trying to get a sort of a middle ground,
Whataboutism.
right? We're like,
You're
that is
giving
literally
examples of things that, you know, maybe have similar traits in some regard, but at the end of the day, they're just not as bad on the spectrum of things that can be bad.
okay.
And I don't even think that is something that is bad enough to run around and be like, that guy's doing something terrible. Like, it's not about being perfect when it comes to any, like, moral or ethical issues, but when something is very evidently bad, like, listen, guys, if you want to come at me and try to...
And for the record, once again, that's not as bad. Does not change anything. Like, that's not... You're just... Pointing to other bad things does not change the conversation around the bad thing that we're talking about right now. Okay? It's called a deflect... That's called deflection. And that's what you are engaging in when you do that. What about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? Well, you know, that's... Again, you're deflecting away from the main conversation. You don't want to have the main conversation. Gambling is not evidently bad. Bad take.
Prove that there are just
It's a
as
discussion.
many people who lose their whole livelihoods to Genshin Impact as there are that do to, like, legitimate gambling. Like, there are gambling... Like, people do lose a lot of money with mobile gamba. They really do.
Yeah, this is where you get a tank and
They
you get
lose-
killed in an Inferno Tower.
Like, yeah, people do lose a lot of money. Listen, and I'm not saying drugs or Genshin or all this. I'm so fucking mad at you for bringing all these things up because you have whataboutism into the whole topic. Guys, I'm not talking about all of those things. I'm talking about this one thing that is worse than all of those
Yeah,
things.
it's a spectrum. I get
Yes.
it. It's a spectrum. One has more upside, downside, like in terms of like, oh, how much can you dump money? Can you wire your bank account and roll it in? If you did that in Genshin, it wouldn't be as bad because you probably hit a cap at one point where you only stuck to 1,000 instead of hundreds of thousands, right?
Yeah.
I get it. It's a spectrum. That's why I wish sometimes.
People discussed other things.
Yeah, and I wish we could be open to a point where the influence would be the same impact as the actual gamba. If you were open enough about it and say, yo guys, this is gonna be only dead spin, only loss, only garbage for hours on end, and we're just gonna and it had this, but it's not. So I get it. It's haram, yeah. It's also very haram.
It is haram.
Every time I
Wallahi
gamble,
on that point.
chat says
So someone said,
astaghfirullah.
oh, yes. Oh my god, good. Very good context.
Habibi X Gamba.
Why is an alcohol and tobacco sponsorship different, though? I mean, if you say gambling sponsored streams encourages viewers to gamble, then alcohol and smoking sponsored streams encourage drinking.
Again, now they're like entertaining the deflections, and it's just like always a silly convo to have. It's just that's not the point, and you shouldn't talk about that in this situation. Okay, who cares? That's bad too. Move on. Okay. Because when you try to get to the weed, when you try to like differentiate between that, the main argument is completely changed now. Now you're having a conversation about like what's less bad, you know what I mean? And then you're parsing through like what the varying degrees of bad is. You've moved on. You've successfully moved on from the main conversation, which is gambling streams, right? And even though Poki mentions it, it's a really common thing that happens regularly, right? It's just, it's hard. It's hard not to take that bait.
Would you disagree? I wouldn't disagree.
I mean, even xQc has
That's really
admitted
it.
that it's
I wouldn't
whataboutism,
disagree.
but they still go
They-
back into it because
like,
it's like
you-
a fun conversation to entertain.
You can argue all day that they are bad, but they are just not as bad as making gambling accessible via computers and then encouraging people to do it.
Yeah,
That's why, like,
I'm still happy
all
though.
this comparison shit, it's like, you guys really must have no good points to defend it on if you're comparing it to a billion other things instead of talking about the actual issue at hand.
Yeah, you're not wrong. There's also I just feel like from my perspective, whenever I try to do it on my own, there was, as somebody who was like 20 whatever years old, there's so many steps to get to the point where I actually gambled that I actually gave up because it's so fucking annoying. And I feel like that's where like my personal like, oh man, look, man, if you want to do it, like you actually have to fucking go all the way, and you have to, it's so many, it's like.
And there's a reason for those things.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a lot of barriers. Like you have to put money here, do this, plug your bank account, verify your identity.
Yeah.
It's like fucking dude. Like it's a lot of steps. So I don't know. Moving on.
Yeah, but I'm glad we talked about it a bit. And you know what? Maybe some things will change.
They did a very productive convo. I think like xQc was a little bit more aggro when he was talking to me and Ethan because he like doesn't know who Ethan is, and he was like coming in hot. And like Train was involved in the conversation too. It like kind of went all over the place, but this was a good conversation because it was like cordial, you know. Yeah, good job to Pokimane for you know doing a really. She did a really good job at. Poki also is much better at trying to get them to see their point. To be honest, yeah, no, she's did a really good job. I don't know why you're like turning around to be like, no, she was like literally better than you. She was literally so much better than you. But you know, if that's how you feel, yeah, I think she was. I think she did a really, really good job. She did a much better job than me. Is that very, very strange thing to harp on? But better than you. That shit was like 8 months ago. Chatters need to move on. Yeah, I mean, I made the same takes. I made job of staying on convo. Motherfuckers take a shot every chance to take a shot at you. Yes. It's yet another instance where like it's the confrontational nature of a debate format makes it less productive. You know, if it's contentious, it's confrontational, it's like less productive as a conversation. Whereas if it's two friends having a conversation with one another about like, and both are being patient in that situation, it's a little bit different. You blame your problem gambling on xQc and Drake, you weak though? No, I think it's not about that. I don't know why you think that that's the case. It's more so about like us as content creators and you know, our obligation, our recognition of like what we are doing, you know what I mean? Our audience.